Alright guys, today it is the Thousand Suns versus the Grey Knights. We are having some fun. This is a little Hexfire face-off. You'll see the armies in a minute, not Hexfire. Haha. But yeah, we're having a good time with this. So Exalted Sorcerer on disc is going to be the Warlord for the Thousand Suns. This is my Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight, and the Swordbearers Patrol is my Warlord for the Grey Knights today. We'll be back next to checking out the armies. Enjoy! Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Grey Knights list for today. Changing things up, having a little bit of fun, trying out some different things. So we've got two patrols again. That seems to be the customary, kind of way to run them right now. Although I do like the idea of a battalion and a patrol for extra characters, but that's neither here nor there. We'll start over here. This is the Wardmakers Patrol. We're bringing, oh yes, Mr. Voldus himself. We're gonna go ahead and spend the 1 CP to add a Warlord trait for him, so he has Lore Master, which if he casts on an 8+, it's undeniable. Kind of nice. Also bringing a Tech Marine this time. I like the idea of him giving the +1 to hit on a Dreadknight, or a vehicle, but in this case a Dreadknight. So we're bringing him along. He's got the Etheric Conduit Relic, so he can do a flat 3 healing per turn. That's also kind of a handy reason to bring him. Behind them we have a Strike Squad. There is no heavy weapon in there again. These guys will be replaced soon, I'm hoping. But they're there. Then we've got a 5-man of Interceptors. These guys will be all with swords. Another 5-man Interceptors, the ones with no backpacks, they will all be Halberds. We have 2 5-man squads of Purifiers, and we have a heavy support Dreadknight. He does actually have a Psilencer. I'm just waiting on that to be done with paint before I get it added on. Appreciate my buddy Jared, give you a shout out for painting these up, and he's not gifting them to me, I am paying for it, but I'm pretty excited because it's opened up a lot of opportunities for my list building. Then over here we have the Swordbearers Patrol, because you don't want to leave home without that. We've got our Mr. Kaldor Draigo, painted by Paolo at Paldromo on Instagram. I love that model. We did kit bash and customize with a shield and some bloodletter skulls. So that's my Draigo, liking him a whole lot. Then we also have the Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight. He is going to be the Warlord. He has the Unyielding Anvil for the OBSEC. He has the Sigil of Exigence because that's pretty important. I just realized, I think I gave it to the Tech Marine. I've also paid for the presaged paralysis so I can make something not Overwatch, which I really like. It's only once per battle, but it's pretty sassy. Back to the Sigil of Exigence, he does have the weapons that he's loaded out with, and I think that's it for him. Yeah, that's it. Then we have a Strike Squad with a Psycannon here. We have another Interceptor Squad, they are WYSIWYG. And then we have 2 heavy support Dreadknights. All the Dreadknights have the teleporter. After my last game, that 1 CP strat to fall back, shoot and charge is so good on things with teleporter. I used it in the last game on Interceptors, one time on the Dreadknight. Man, just having that in your back pocket, pretty cool. This dude with a hammer does have the Incinerator, and the rest of the guys all have the Psycannon and Silencer. So that's it, 2,000 points on the button. We'll be back in a minute to look at the Thousand Suns. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Thousand Suns today. This is being run by Josh. Haven't played him or seen him in a long time, so this will be lots of fun. Running Cult of Duplicity, because why not? We have 5 Scarabs, a big block of 10 Scarabs. You got 2 5-man Rubrics. There is a 6-man Rubric squad here. They all have the Flamers. I'm not sure I'm excited about those. We have some big boys in the back, 2 Halberds. Those are las cannons and missiles, I'm assuming, yeah, because it's all WYSIWYG. And then, of course, my least favorite thing in the world, the Contemptor, with the Volkites. Then we have a whole bunch of characters. So this is the Warlord here. He's the Exalted Sorcerer on disc. That guy's a normal sorcerer. Is that correct? Yep. Okay. Then Infernal Master, and then Ahriman himself. Pretty solid looking list. This will be a good time. I'm enjoying playing and seeing different builds of Thousand Suns, and I've not seen one like this, so this will be a good time. And we will be back shortly to go over deployments and the mission and to get this party started. Alright folks, we have arrived on this here planet doing all kinds of shenanigans. The warp is going to be rent asunder. It'll be grand. If you haven't recognized from the objectives, this is Surround and Destroy, mission number 21, I do believe, in the GT mission pack. You get 2 nice no man's land. You've got 1 in each deployment zone, spread out. Funnily enough, there's this great secondary that if you have, I don't know what kind of army could ever accomplish it, but if you can do it, it's like 4 or 8 command points all the time. It's amazing, but I don't think anybody could ever pull that off. I am deep striking 2 Purifier squads and 1 of my heavy support Dreadknights. The rest is on the table. For Josh, we got rubrics over here, and then everything else. Just everything, right up there. Mr. Volkite Contemptor Boy's got some line of sight on some things, and one of the Halberds can pretty quickly as well, and they've got range for days, which makes me a little jealous. Then over here, I've put all of my stuff. This is my Ward Makers, Dreadknight, then the rest are all Swordbearers. That's the Grandmaster. We got Strikes, Interceptors, Draigo. Over here, we've got Voldus, Tech Marine. I just realized I did that poorly. Shame on me. The Interceptors and Strikes over there. That's really comical. And that's it. We're staring down, I don't know what kind of shenanigans in the face. And let's have a roll-off. See who's going to get to go first on this day. Excellent start. Yes, I will take first turn. Huzzah! So Grey Knights, turn 1 coming up next. Alrighty, so the end of Grey Knight's turn 1. Strike Marines moved over, raised a banner. Interceptors moved forward, raised a banner. We did spend the 2 command points to jump this guy. He received Chapter Master rerolls, and I went ahead and spent for Psychic Onslaught, and he murderized those guys. I used Gate of Infinity on this guy with a hammer, and he cast Imperial Lodestone. It was not denied onto the rear rubric squad. Did I actually take a wound off one? I mean, the Scarab. Yeah. Yeah, so that was exciting. Not the most beneficial, but it was something. And then the Incinerator went into the Scarabs that were in the building, which I don't know, probably shouldn't have done it because he was able to pull out of charge ranges. Not surprising. However, I did get him to sacrifice 2 Scarab Terminators, so that's, you know, that's not for nothing. Over this direction, Draigo moved. Those Interceptors stayed still. Grandmaster moved forward, out of line of sight unless he moves things out to get him. Voldus Tech Marine moved back because I'm a peanut and didn't leave that Tech Marine near anybody, so clever. These guys came back just kind of shielding, and these guys raised a banner on this side. So that is the end of my turn. I did get engaged. I did raise 3 banners, but they won't count this turn. And that's it. So we'll be back for Thousand Suns turn 1. So the end of the turn is upon us. We have a big block of Scarabs. They came down here. They fit neatly on that edge because I wasn't going to advance these dudes to block that out. I needed a banner. Doesn't look like it mattered now, as you can tell. So they did a bunch of shooting. I did put Transhuman on these for the shooting phase. It saved most of them. And then they made a big old 10-inch charge because they're crazy like that. So yeah, they're dead. In the shooting phase, they concentrated a lot of fire over here, so my Interceptors died. I will say this, he used cheeky, weird Cult of Duplicity shenanigans. So he double moved the Exalted, which got him inside this building. So he then cast, it was a smite, wasn't it? They killed 1 guy, which is all he needs. Wrath of Magnus. Killed 1, hurt 1. So he picked up 3 on Wrath of Magnus, which reminds me, I did not show y'all any of our secondaries. So I've got Raised Banners, Engage, and Assassinate. He's got Wrath of Magnus, Stranglehold, and Warp Ritual. Interestingly enough, he cast the Smite. I did not block that one. He paid the command point, right, for the flat 3, or was that a Cabal? That was a command point. So he did the flat 3 damage. I shrugged 1. Then he did, one of his other spells was cast on a 12. I think, was that Doombolt that went off on a 12? It was Boxcar, so I couldn't deny it. Did flat 3 damage. I shrugged 2 of them, so I had 1 guy on 1 wound, and he took 3 wounds from it himself, so I got the better end of that deal. thanks to my ignoring mortals. And that was kind of all that happened. So a bunch of stuff happened over here. Then his last cast, he got cheeky, did the can't deny it spell, and jumped himself back out with his teleport. Very clever. I thought he was leaving that dude there to die, which was crazy, but he's not that kind of a crazy player. Then Mr. Hellbrute and Contemptor with Volkites shot into this dude. He's still here. Got 5 wounds left, but it did tickle a bit. And it was a little disappointing. So that happened, and that was it. That's all we've got. So we'll come back in just a minute for Grey Knights, turn 2. Alrighty, it's the end of Grey Knight's turn 2. I forgot to mention previously, these guys are glamored, so they had the -1 to hit, and they also had the +1 to do the hitting, so the presage. So that was done on them in their turn. So -1 to hit, I did lots of shooting. I moved these guys into range, I got these guys into range for psychic shenanigans. This was a turn right here. So what I'm hoping is that my next turn will be more exciting for me. A lot of bad happened. I did get a smite, did 1 damage. I got Vortex of Doom, I did 2 damage. The Draigo failed a smite, or it was blocked. I failed Gate of Infinity, spent the CP to re-roll it because I was going to jump Mr. Draigo so he could do the Empiric Amplification. Didn't work. He tried to cast Empiric Lodestone, failed. Most of these were just failed, like not blocked, because he saved his denies and didn't have to use them for anything, except I think he denied a smite. This guy teleported in, and I spent the 1 CP for Death from the Warp to give him +1 to hit, so he was still hitting on 3s instead of on 4s. This guy was hitting on 3s instead of 2s because the Tech Marine was too far away in the command phase to give him the +1 to ignore their -1 anyways. I also spent a command point for Psychic Onslaught to do extra damage. He spent 3 command points to reduce all damage by 1. Is that what it does? Yeah. So, you know, we blew through command points. He's down to 1. I'm at 0 because in the fantastic, exciting charge phase, I failed every single charge. I re-rolled this charge. I needed a 7. I rolled Snake Eyes into a 4. He rolled Snake Eyes. He rolled like a 6. And then I even charged, or was attempting to charge. He would have had to go around through the dents to get into the Hellbrute, but he managed to roll a 9, which was the most exciting charge I had. I needed a 10. It was redonkulous. Speaking of that Hellbrute, this Dreadknight put Silencer shots into the Scarab, and then his Incinerator into the Hellbrute, and then that Dreadknight moved up and did his shooting downrange into the Hellbrute. We took like 4 wounds, maybe, I think. Wasn't too exciting. I did Deep Strike Purifiers here, so we raised a banner. And I shuffled the strikes so that there's less of an angle for them to be shot by most things. There's still some things. And that's it. So, I mean, in some ways, it's really annoying to fail all the charges right here, but this guy is now sitting on an objective, so you're going to have to fight for that one or just shoot him to death because he's out in the open. These guys are just being a pain in my behindy because there's no morale failing, and I'm feeling morale failed after that horrible charge phase. But other than that, I'm okay. And we'll be back next for the Thousand Suns, turn 2. Okay, folks, it's the end of turn 2. I tried to say turn 3 just now. Yeah, end of turn 2. Wild times over here. These boys came forward, shot and killed all but one dude. He did not fail morale. I was just laughing because that's the first guy to not fail morale since the new edition for me. That's not saying much, is it? So he's still here being cheeky. These guys, the Dreadknight was able to kill 2 in combat. They, however, dropped him down to 5 wounds remaining. Which was making me sad. My 4-up save game was going great on the guy that used to be right there, and then it just all fell apart on this one. So he had a really hard time making 4-ups. In the psychic phase, there was a whole lot of shenaniganizing going on. I actually denied quite a few spells. I denied his extra move or second move thing to keep him from doing some worser shenanigans. However, we did lose that Dreadknight that was on 5 from psychic mess, so Wrath of Magnus got scored again. There's a skull there because somebody tried to smite and blew himself up. Over here, these guys are once again -1 to hit. Were they +1 or was that all that they got? They do have +1 to hit and -1 to hit.
And the 4.
Oh yeah, and the 4 of Anvil, because I didn't have, after trying to deny everything, and I denied quite a bit over that direction, there wasn't a whole lot left over here in range. So these guys are here, and everything kind of came out in the middle on this objective. Those boys all made a nice backwards march to get line of sight onto the other Dreadknight that has disappeared. So, shot and killed 3 Dreadknights. One was psychic, 2 were shot. This one ended up being charged into and was the springboard for Mr. Ahriman to get a little closer to give reroll 1s to these friends in here. So there's a lot happening. Yeah, we will come back for Grey Knight's turn 3 next. Here we are, folks. It is the end of Grey Knight's turn 3. So we did lots of moving around. We did lots of psychicking, but most of it was denied. I actually passed most of my psychic tests, but they were all shut down because there's like every deny in the world out here. It is okay. This guy moved his 12, sitting on that objective, raised the banner, yay, once more. He's also within 6 of the Dreadknight, so he is obsec for now, as much as that will matter for how long, I don't know. Guess what I did? I was smart. I had my Tech Marine in the right place for once, so he gave the +1 to hit, so he was hitting on 2s to shoot. Then he also came over and healed him for 3, so I'm back to 8 wounds on that guy. Then we charged, and for the first time in forever, everybody made a charge. All right, we got in there. It took 3 of these guys, so Voldus, the Tech Marine, and Draigo to kill the 3 Scarab Occult Terminators, and that's after shooting. I think, did I kill one with shooting? I don't think I did. I don't think anything in the shooting phase mattered, because he spent a command point again to reduce damage to 1, or to reduce it by 1, so that was that. Over here, I did bring down the last Purifier squad. They are hunkered that way because it gives them some blocking of line of sight, a little bit of protection there. These interceptors went ahead and moved up into the building there, and then we did a little like psychicking and some shooting, didn't really do a whole lot with that. And then we made the charge and managed to kill that Rubric squad. Went ahead and consolidated in towards this other stuff here just a little bit, so his big scary shooting things might not be able to get around to blast them, maybe, I don't know. It's a thought. And that's it. So I picked up 3 more for engage. I had 3 for banners this turn. Still nothing with assassinate, but that's the lay of the land. Yeah, it's a very interesting game. So we'll be back after the 1,000 Suns, do some blistering mortal wound output and shooting, and we'll see what remains. Ladies and gentlemen, 1,000 Suns turn 3 is over, battle round 3 is over. This was a psychic battle of epicness right here. So we had the Exalted Sorcerer, we had Ahriman, we had the Scarabs, not there, they were a little farther back. We denied every single thing, except for Weaver of Fates on them, so they have the 4 of Anvil, and one other thing managed to squeak through. Oh, it was his CP regen action from the monkeys in the very back. Everything else was shut down. The Grey Knights were mighty this time. Then we... Oh no, and there... Oh, that was... He got shot, didn't he? Yeah, he took a pistol shot in the face and took a wound. So then we had a little shooting from the Contemptor. He didn't take damage from that. He saved it, and then he rolled a 5 to ignore the 1 mortal that went through. He was feeling like a boss. Then he got charged with everything, and he took 5 more wounds, which is rather spectacular, seeing how I was saving nothing on any other Dreadknight, and I had no CP. So I'm excited. Josh was less excited. The Dreadknight hit back and killed the Exalted, so I got 4 for Assassinate for slaying the Warlord. These Scarabs over here, before they made their charge, were in line of sight, shot and deleted my Interceptor squad. I think they did it by themselves because they just have a lot of bullets and a lot of AP. Then the Hellbrutes shot and obliterated this lone Interceptor that was on the point. And the other Hellbrutes, the other Hellbrutes shot at these guys and managed to roll 2 1s and a 2. So those Purifiers were pretty tickled with that result. And that is it. So yeah, we are done with that round, and we're going into Grey Knight's turn 4, battle round 4. All Alright, end of the turn for the Grey Knights. We did some Psychering, not a whole lot, but it was somewhat successful. We were able to wound the Sorcerer over there. Draigo and Voldus moved into the building where they could see and shoot and Psycher. We did a little Psychering over here, did a few more wounds here and there, wounded Ahriman quite a few times. Then we shot and killed him, killed the Terminator, and then Draigo and Voldus shot through the building and killed that dude over there. And then we made charges. So Voldus and Draigo picked up the last 3 Scarab Occult that were left. So I scored 2 for Engage, 3 more for Banners, and picked up 6 on Assassinate. And that is the end of my turn. And Josh has to go soon, so we're banging out this last turn real quick. Alright, it's the end of the turn 4. A lot of shooting and things happened from the Contemptor, Hellbrute, shooting down here. Lots of saves were made. Draigo did suffer a few more wounds, so he's got 2 wounds remaining. Then there was a goodly amount of shooting going into these boys, and we lost 3. These guys did their teleport, and was the only thing I think I didn't deny that he cast. And then they failed to charge because I pulled from the front. These guys did bravely make their morale tests. So that is the end of that turn. I think it's probably the end of the game. You said you have to run. Yeah. We don't have the score total yet, but we can add that up in a second and we'll come back. All right, so Josh had to bug out. We talked through a few things. I would have had Engage again. I would have had 3 more for Banners and would have had another 15. So I would have maxed on Primary. He was able to move, well, I think you saw at the end of the last turn, he had the Infernal Master was over here. So there was a slim chance I could have killed him, potentially, by moving Voldus and Draigo. The Dreadknight could have moved, could have done some things possibly to work on that. There was also Contemptor, Hellbrute's back there and over there. So there were a few things to have to worry about, but it was pretty much was going to go my way, I think, unless everything fell apart, and that happens in some games. At the end of the day, the scores came down to 91 Grey Knights, 54 for the Thousand Suns. Pretty wild. Upon a retrospection or reflection, Josh decided that probably those particular secondaries weren't the smartest. But this is not a whole lot of games in for him with the Thousand Suns, so kind of learning. Had a couple more games, and I really got to enjoy some of what they could do. Voldus having a non-deniable cast is cool. I'm actually really impressed with this list. Had a lot of fun with it. A lot of stuff is dead, but a lot of it survived, and had a pretty solid victory. So that is the end of this game. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and yeah, it's been another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. Oh, also, I didn't even say it last time, but The Rat Works is the producer for my terrain that you see here. So he's created all of this terrain, Gamemat.eu for the battle mat, and just had a really fun game today against Thousand Suns. So again, hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for checking this out.